Hey.
Good morning and happy Friday to each and every one of you. I hope that you all have had a wonderful and blessed week, or actually the last 2 weeks, because it's been 2 weeks since we've actually been with you guys. Hope you all had an opportunity to tune in last week and listen to what we dug out of the crates. Great episode that we did in the beginning of our podcast, and so I hope you all had a chance to tune in. So anyway, I am Iris Owens, your host of the Autopsy of Her, Healing, Evolving, Resiliency, and on the line with me is my beautiful sister and co-host.
Good morning, honey bunny. Stephanie Gianni Green.
Good morning, honey
Morning,
bunny. How are
everybody.
you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? I see you still.
I am still on a high from Dubai, and
I know.
still walking amongst the clouds of my journey to Dubai. It was um best thing I think I've ever done thus far in life. Um,
Wow.
outside of the
Hey.
box, outside of the box. And, when you have a vision to, you put something on your bucket list and then you get to do it. And of course, I think life is filled with how we make plans. I would always say make plans and tell God your plans, and then see what happens in the midst of making these
Exactly. Throw 'em
plans.
out there. Uh-huh.
So it's a very interesting, but yeah, Dubai was beautiful. It was an amazing, amazing, amazing place to
Oh.
go to. um Definitely, if I did not have to come home, I might have stayed a little bit longer, because I know people who have gone on. I met people in my over my lifetime who have, like, I met this brother and sister when I was I think that was probably in my college days, who went to Hawaii on vacation and stayed
Mhm.
in Hawaii for 5 years.
Yeah, yeah. People
You
do it
know,
all the time.
and I've met people who were like, yeah, I went to an island for vacation and just
You never
decided, yeah,
left.
I'm coming back. And I tell you, either one of my dreams in life is that I will live someplace abroad before, my journey on life is over. I really would love to live someplace abroad. And I think I would be that person who would go someplace for a vacation and then be like, hey y'all, not coming back anytime soon.
That would be you. That would be you.
That would be me. And
You're
like I
absolutely
said,
the person that would do
if there
that.
wasn't anybody looking for me, I probably would have figured. I would have like, let me see who I could figure out how I could stay here for a minute. But Dubai was beautiful. It is. My head is really still. When I say literally in the clouds, it is. My body is still in the clouds because it is an adjustment. Dubai is. There's a 9 hour difference. So when it would be like 4:30 here in the afternoon, it'd be like 3 o'clock in the morning there. Yeah.
Mm.
So, it's totally time change, time difference. So basically, when it's day here, it's night there, and it's an adjustment. And of course, I was there for a week. Food was wonderful. It was so wonderful as a woman who does not eat pork, to be in a country that there was no pork in the entire country.
Wow.
Like I know
I
for
love that.
I know for the meat
That.
eaters, y'all are probably saying that would not be good for me.
Yeah.
But for me, it was amazing to have to never ask what kind of meat is in this,
I
right?
know. I
I,
know.
it,
I
it was
know.
just it was mind boggling. The food was so fresh, like everything you ate. There's no preservatives in the food. So basically,
Mhm.
if you you know how we take leftovers home and we put it in the fridge, yeah, you need to eat it today or the next morning. None of this is gonna
Yeah,
stay
it's
in
not
there
gonna
for a
last.
week or anything like that. Um, but you could tell the difference in such fresh food. Having breakfast and having curry every morning with something on your plate. Oh my God, it was
Mhm.
amazing. Um, so that part was great. The people were, kind, nice. Our trip was really amazing. We went to the mosque. We went actually to two different mosques. Um, I just felt like Dubai is so, in terms of technology, it seems so futuristic.
Okay. It
As
looks futuristic.
yes, like they seem so far advanced. Like Dubai, has been built like from 12 years ago, and then you have old Dubai, but the old Dubai would be like Abu Dhabi. That's old Dubai. So Dubai is just so forward. I mean, everything, their architecture is out of this world. Like, I mean, literally everything is sculptured and crafted, and the buildings, you're like, oh, is that just some sort of sculpture? And it's a building, like there are people inside of there, and you're thinking, oh my God, like where's the entrance? It's that kind of technology and design. And like they have this, I think it's 100-story building that has, it's mixed use development, is like hotel use, rent, people can rent apartments or buy apartments in there, and then you have business in there, and it's all solar power.
Wow, that's great. That
And I
is
mean,
really great.
it's amazing, and it's clean. I mean, you see these window washes, but they're not people just washing windows. They are washing the sides of these buildings. Like there is not dirt on the street. There is not
No, I
paper
saw
on
the
the
pictures. I was
street.
like, oh my God.
It's so clean, and even the air, like it's warm, but you're not, like the air is not stifling. It was really amazing. It was just
Now,
really.
now with both of us being realtors, you were over there. So now the rentals on those apartments, what were they looking at? Did you ever ask them about those?
So I asked the question. So my question was, we had an amazing uh tour guide, because we had a chartered bus that we went on our tours with, and our Haas was our tour guide. And so my question to Haas was, what's your social welfare? And he said, social welfare. He's like, what do you mean, like social security? And I said, no, your social welfare. Like, how do you deal with the poor? And so his answer back to me was that we don't have poor. Okay, so please elaborate, right? So basically, so it's the Dubai is the, in the United, or UAE, which is the United Arab Emirates, right? Like we have the United States, and so they're made up of 7 different countries over there. So for them, like they're saying there's no poor. Now, of course, we were in Dubai, we were in old Dubai, and we went to Sharjah. So in the old Dubai, you could see like there are places where people live, where they have, they're drying their clothing outside, or there are things hanging over the balconies and that sort of thing. The things we would see and consider more of a lower income living. So what he was explaining to me, so I said, like, what would housing be for a lower income? So that would be a 5-bedroom, 4-bath. Okay. I don't know any place in the United States where your low income is 4 bedrooms, 4-bath. And from what we saw, it did not look to be a rundown, dilapidated, uncared for living facilities. Now, of course, I didn't see the insides of these facilities, but I thought it was interesting. And then the UAE is made up of, it's 80% expats, which are meaning 80% of the people who live there are not from UAE. There's 20% that make up those who are from UAE and live there, work there, and so forth.
But how much are those apartments? How much were the apartments? Like money wise?
So we talked more about like a house. So if you could buy a house, depending on what area, you're looking at, most of what he talked about, you're looking at maybe $500,000 and upwards. And you could have 50 years to pay for it. And there's also where they give you a portion of money to purchase a home and to buy property. So from that perspective, it was very interesting. Of course, they provide health insurance.
Oh, really? It's free health insurance?
Yeah, well, not free. You pay 10%, but there are levels to the health insurance, just like anything else. It's just like
Oh,
everybody, depending on where your income is, depends on what type of health insurance you're
okay.
getting, but you
Gotcha.
pay 10% towards your costs and your expenses. There are schools of every nationality in the country. The schools are run, they really have more, you would consider private than there is public. There is public school, but
Mhm.
it's more private education as opposed to public. Um, so it's just interesting.
Does everybody live there? Are they Muslims? Most of the people that live
No,
there?
that's what I'm saying. 80% of the people who are in Dubai are not, they're not from Dubai, so they're not Muslim.
Yeah, but I mean, like
But
my,
yeah, you
so
have people like our guy, he was Hindu. And you have people from Korea, you have people from Pakistan, you have people from all over. You have Christians. They have Christian church. They have churches for all different, religions. I think there are like 15, what was it? 15, what did he say? 15,000 mosques in Dubai, so of course Muslim, is their first,
right.
religion, but everyone else is there and open and welcome to practice their religion.
Okay.
Um,
That's wonderful.
it was really peaceful. Um, and part of my going to Dubai, I felt like going to a place that was um so religious and so kind of rooted in the depths of religion.
Mhm.
I went with an open mindset that there was going to be something that God was going to speak to me. And
And he
so
speaks to us all the time, but did he speak to you specifically the way he?
yes.
Oh,
And so he speaks to me all the time, but I always think
yes.
when you are, it's almost like being on a journey, right? When you go on a
Mhm.
journey, um, you learn so many things that you otherwise may not have paid attention to or been able to receive, because you're kind of in this whirlwind of, okay, I heard that before, and so you're not paying attention.
Exactly.
Um,
Uh-huh.
and so I always, I always ask God to let me have the ability to humble myself before him, but to also be able to hear with spiritual ears, hear with a pure heart and a clean heart,
Uh-huh.
and to see
Mhm.
with spiritual eyes. Because of course my human eyes, my human ears, my human heart is tainted
Mhm.
by
Yes. Yes.
so many things, right?
Of
And
course. Uh-huh.
so I really enjoyed the ability to be able to just be at peace every day. It was it was just a great place to be.
Oh, that's so nice. I'm so happy
So
for you.
I would definitely go again. Um, Definitely be someplace I would love to go again. Um, it was just a great journey.
Mhm.
Yeah. So learn something
Nice.
about another, going across the water, which to me, I think is always an amazing thing. I am always fascinated by travel, because I think it is so, um, the ability to be able to leave your home at this time in the day. I think I've said this
Yeah, I know,
before,
I
at
know.
one time of the day, and then
Yep.
and a few hours later, you could be a completely different place, like
It's
across
so
the
true.
world. Is
It is so
fascinating to
true.
me. It is fascinating to me. And I know people probably go,
It's
well, yeah,
fascinating to me too.
right. Like if you get on a plane, of course. No, 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 no. You don't get it. But the it is not, it's the ability that
Exactly.
I was able to get on a plane and go to another country with another group of people that I have never been before, that I've never seen before, that to me is amazing, right?
That is amazing. I agree with you. I
Yeah,
agree with
and
you.
to walk amongst the desert, I mean, it blew my mind, be out in that desert. Because in the desert we're always like, oh my God, it's hot, and it was nothing like that. That sand, that red sand, just moving, and you see the dunes building as just the sand moves along. It is like God's at his best
Yes.
creation. I mean, I think that's the only way I could explain it, is to see the sands moving and the dunes, and it's like your playing field changing in front of you, and you're not doing anything, right?
Wow.
I
Wow.
think
That's
that for
really.
me, I think it gives perspective, and I think that's what
Mhm.
I meant by saying I wanted to go. I had in my mind that God was going to do something and
Mhm.
speak to me in a way that I probably would never have taken the time to hear at my house, in my familiar surroundings. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
That's nice. It does awaken your spirit to go to unfamiliar places. You know
yes,
what I mean? Because you're alert. So you're listening, you know what I mean? Because you are somewhere that you've never been before, you
yes,
know. But when things are very familiar to you, it's like, that's why you should always, if you take this route, you should always take another route. You find different ways to
right,
keep you alert, to keep you, it's like that's with anything. That's
right,
even, within a relationship. That was how
right,
can we do something different to still keep it
right,
all fresh and new? So the
right,
same thing, even how you do things at home. I mean, when you
right.
have children, you need routine. But as like now, we both being empty nesters, it doesn't,
Yes,
it doesn't have to be a routine. Okay, so tonight I may eat dinner out, maybe not.
right,
Maybe I eat in my
right,
family room. Maybe I eat in my kitchen. Maybe I eat in my, dining room. You
correct.
know, there's so many different things that, because, the reality is some people will never leave the United States. I know people that have never been on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think I know anybody, but I've heard of people that have never been on a plane.
Mm-hmm.
But, and so, but you could still have a difference just in your life,
Right.
just by going a different place. If you like Starbucks, you go to Starbucks all the time, and there are a million Starbucks. You can just go to another one, and it does awaken your spirit to see
Right.
like, oh, okay, I go to a grocery store, I know with every aisle that has this, this, and this. You got another one, it has to awaken a little bit because now you have to find it because that grocery store is put together differently, you
Yes.
know. So
Yes.
it's interesting, but to go to another country and walk on different ground and hear different languages and
Yes.
like the
Yes.
different dialects, it's
Yes.
quite amazing. It really
I,
is.
I, I, and
And
I,
next time you gotta take me with you.
absolutely. We will listen. We could definitely take the journey together. I think um, life is learning how not to take things for granted, and
Oh,
that's what we do. That's what we do every
that's
day.
big.
We take
That's big.
we take we take it for granted, like everything that happens we just kind of take it for granted, or we have the expectation that this is just the way it's supposed to be. um
Yeah,
and and
that's
that's
really.
it, and that's good and bad, right? Because I feel like we live life at times with the, like, we may not want it to be this way, but then sometimes we fall into the acceptance of it is what it is, right?
That's why I
That's
can't stand that saying because it is what you want. You could change that, but
right,
you have to
because
want to change that. I
right,
think that has become a really lazy saying. People, oh, it is what it is. No, it isn't.
right.
You
And
know what
it
I mean?
is what it is doesn't necessarily mean that it is what it is. And it's funny
Exactly.
because today I was listening to my meditation, and it was talking about, like, yesterday was about trusting God, like how as with a child heart,
Mhm.
and today was about knowing that whatever God says, right, that he will make it so.
Mhm.
And for me, I need to be reminded of that sometimes, to know that whatever God says he's going to do, whatever God has promised you. And in the title today was God's plan will prosper, right? And I kept saying, yeah, remember, God's word never, cannot, will not ever return void,
Mhm.
ever.
Mhm.
If
Mhm.
God said it, it's done. Now, it may not happen at the time that I want it to happen. and
Oh
may not
no,
like
exactly.
it.
Mm-hmm.
But that is why we have to believe.
Oh,
Belief is
absolutely.
trusting God at and taking him at his word that if he says it's going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to happen. And the thing I love about it, with faith, because taking a journey that, and that's another thing, taking a journey out of your familiarity or your surroundings, to me, is nothing but a faith journey, which is
Exactly.
what we do every day. But just imagine, I literally, when you look at it, I planned this trip. I paid to go on this trip. And when I tell you everything that could have happened in the in between time to almost like not go on this trip, it
Like
happened.
you had to move. Big things. You had to move.
Yeah, big thing, great things that I was like, wait, what?
You had to plan on moving.
I wasn't planning on moving, right? And not moving just me, move your whole family, your whole house, right? Then move my daughter to college, and then and
That's a lot.
that is just life. Life is
Yep.
for our very best laid plans, things fall out of place or fall into place and changes the whole trajectory of what you had planned to do. But it is faith that to get up in a plane and be in a plane for 14 hours coming back home, 11 hours going, um, being on a plane in the midst of COVID with what, 400 people? Come on, man, I'm telling you, right? And then to get to a foreign land, like for my feet to walk on a foreign land that I don't know the language. But of course, people spoke English there. People spoke many different languages there.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
you don't know, you have this, I had this great expectation, like, oh my God, I can't believe. And so for me, and to arrive there at night and to see all the lights of the city and of the country and the people, and it was just amazing to me. But at the same time, what I thought was really funny is that no matter where you go in life, there are some things that will never change, i.e., going places and people act the same crazy way at times. And you're thinking, wait, didn't I leave you back home? Didn't I leave you in the US? There's some things that are just human nature,
Yeah,
right?
it's true. It's so
Oh,
true.
or that you take a person out of their element and they go to another place and they still cannot appreciate this
Oh
element
yeah.
in which they're in, because they're so out of their element, they're
Yeah.
uncomfortable, and now they're scared, and then they do and behave in a crazy way, and you're like, I'm please, can you calm down,
Yeah.
just
So you'd be
take a
like, I'm
breath.
over here and you're over there,
Right,
okay?
take a
Let's
breath.
pretend like we didn't even know each other.
Right. So
Yeah.
I just think travel is travel is an amazing thing. It's just like we were talking a couple of weeks ago about reading. Reading is a mind-blowing
Oh,
experience, and like I said, if you're old enough to remember RIF, which is reading is fundamental, um reading a book opens your mind and your soul and your spirit to things you possibly never even imagined, right? Because reading opens you up to worlds that or things that you probably have no idea about. But
it's
what
true.
it does is it puts something in your spirit. It puts ideas, it puts a want and a desire in your spirit to do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
To go a place that you've never been before, or to do something you've never done before, to meet a person that you've never met before. um
But you
I
travel through books, like when you
Yes,
read a book, I learned
yes,
so much about like reading. I learned so much about Vietnam. I learned so much about
yes,
Budapest, like in both
yes,
places I want to visit. But it's
yes,
quite interesting. You just read different stories about different things. You'd be like, wow,
yes,
that's a you read it so much. It's like you feel like you've been there.
right,
If it's a good author and they describe how it smells, how it feels, and you just like
yes,
your imagination will literally take you there.
absolutely. Like even,
Yeah,
going to Dubai, and of course, they tell you, like they have rules, and their rules of courtesy is called courtesy policy, right? It's posted everywhere throughout the country. Like when you go someplace, they tell you these things you're not allowed to do, right? And I think living in a countryside where there's governance, right? Of not just the people, but of reminding people to act decent and properly, especially when you're out in public, I thought was a great thing, because many times I think those are the things we forget. We forget how to behave in public, or we forget, we just want to do what we want to do, and that doesn't work. You can't
no,
always
that
just do
really
what you
doesn't.
want to do.
No. And that's
I,
really nowhere.
well, no, but people get
I
away.
mean,
In
but they do.
America, we get away with a lot of things
Oh, absolutely. But at the
that,
same time, eventually, all those things you get away with, they will catch up to you.
yes, I
That's
totally
true.
agree.
You
I
know what I mean?
totally
So,
agree.
because people feel, oh, I can do this, I can do this. Yeah, you can do it until you can't do it.
Right.
That's
And
what
you
it
can
comes down
do
to. I
it,
mean,
and then you don't understand, or you don't accept how you affect other people's lives. I
oh
was
my
actually
God.
trying to find I was actually
Other
trying to
rules.
find the public policy
Yeah,
of,
I want to hear what they are. I would
yes,
like,
because I
I
I
want to
really
back up
wanted to kind of read
because
them,
my
because
scripture
it,
this morning, I want to back up a minute. My scripture this morning was about faithfulness. Because when you were talking about that, I had to look and see what my scripture was. And it's
yes,
really, you know what I mean? Yes, yes. And it's so funny, but yours was, it was kind of, it's like very similar. But we had
yes,
the same this morning. That's interesting.
because it
Yes.
just, like I said, it reminded me that, one, God's never going to fail you, right?
I
God is,
agree.
if God take you to it, he'll bring you through it, right? And I just think there are so many opportunities that we have in life that sometimes we forget the appreciation of it.
Mhm.
The ability to be able to travel somewhere, leave your home and go someplace else in life, I think is amazing.
Oh,
um
oh,
you
absolutely. No,
know
it's that.
even
No.
if it means you leave your neighborhood. And we talked about this before, how people, especially in a metropolitan area like New York or in LA or Chicago, places where you don't have to have a car, that
Oh,
you could
yes.
get on public transportation and enter different places in that city, and that you may not live in, you may not have never ever experienced, but you can go to it and have a totally different experience, which opens up your mind to
Right.
different opportunities in life.
Expansion.
Yes,
That's, I
expanding
live
your
like,
mind.
I live 50 minutes by car, good, no traffic. I live like 15 minutes out of Manhattan. Okay.
Yes, yes,
And when I run across people all the time, not as much now because I would like more like when my kids were in school. But when people tell me like, oh, I haven't been to Manhattan in like 15 years. I haven't been to
yes,
Manhattan in like 20 years. When I
yes,
tell them, I'm like, they said, when'd you go to Manhattan? I'm like, yesterday.
yes.
I'm going back
Right.
there
And
tomorrow.
you're thinking, and why haven't you been to Manhattan?
They
What?
like, I mean, one lady I was in the boutique and she was like, "Oh, my daughter's going to Manhattan. She's taking a train, and I just don't. I'm just so uncomfortable about it." I was like, "It's Manhattan."
Why?
But people, if you don't know, you don't know. I mean, let me tell you, people can't even get out of their, like their own square footage. You know what I'm saying? So some people will never go and visit another country. They can't even get across to California.
Well, this
People
is
saying to
true.
me, like, "Oh, I like if your son's going to like one of my girlfriends." She said, "You probably moving to California with your son." I'm like, "No, it's a plane ride away."
Right.
And
I can go
but
visit.
I can go visit. He come visit. I mean, so I don't, but people are very much like that.
Yes, they are.
It's really quite interesting because you get very comfortable, but that's why a lot of people are just in their own way. That's why you could always tell a group, that's why you could tell people about other people in other countries because you haven't been there to see it for yourself.
But it's
You know what I mean?
also why you can be so easily deceived,
That's what
because
I'm saying. Right.
you
Exactly.
have no reference, and you refuse to even explore the possibility. And I like, I call it it's like the four corner mentality, meaning you
Mhm.
live in four corners of your life, right?
Mhm.
If your neighborhood the 4 blocks of your neighborhood that requires you to go to the store, go to school, go to church if you go to church, or the the restaurant, whatever, that's all you see, it's all you know. And so it's like a 4-corner mentality. Whereas if you kept walking, because remember, the world is round. If you keep walking past the 4 blocks, you're not going to fall off the end.
Nope, not at all.
And I think we have to look at life that way. You have to be willing to expand, and you don't have to go to Dubai to do that. You don't have to travel out of the country. Just leaving your block.
Well, you can find it in your own state. You can find it in the city, the next city next door. Because from one city to the next, they are so different.
Yes. And one neighborhood to the next. I mean, one neighborhood to the next. Like I always laugh, like
one town to the next.
In New York, like I lived in the South Bronx. I grew up on 169 in Webster. I went to school on 182nd in Belmont, which was Little Italy. Right. And so even though I left my block every day to go to school, but when I went to 182nd in Belmont, the people didn't look like me. But I learned so much from the people who didn't look like me because I went to school with a bunch of Italian girls. Right.
And it looked different. That area looked
right. And it looked different.
You know what I mean? I was only in school in the city for a couple of years, but I lived on East 169th Street, and I went to school in Harlem.
Right.
That was really, I went to a private school there called the New School. That was a whole different thing. I mean, like from the Bronx to Harlem is different. Just from the Bronx to Harlem to Brooklyn, just different. You know what I mean? So, although, and then you think about me knowing all of those areas, having lived in Brooklyn also.
Yes.
And having, spent a lot of time in Harlem because my mother lived there. So it's different, but then you could say like people that never been here, they think everything's the same. And I tell them, I said, first of all, they're their own islands. They don't even realize that. The people that I'm like, yeah, they're islands. People that you look, they don't know. They have no clue. So, I said you gotta take a bridge or you gotta go through a tunnel or something to get to these different places. I mean, like nobody now it's really beautiful in the Bronx how they did the beach over there. They did everything all over again where sand and everything is, which is really, really nice. People have all their boats over there. And when they talk about the Bronx, unless something's happening over there, like somebody murdered or something like that, they never talk about, and it's really beautiful. I always went over there, but it's even more beautiful now. Go over there to the beach and everything like that, but they don't talk about that part of it at all.
Right. So I found the courtesy policy. You found it? So there was a place outside of around the marina called the beach, and it was an actual beach. And so the courtesy policy, and you saw this at many public places. Now, it was nothing so crazy that we don't see here in America, but so it was, please wear respectful clothing in the dining, entertainment, and retail areas. Okay. Meaning like here where if you got on a bathing suit, you go in the restaurant maybe you just go in the restaurant with your bathing suit on, or you go with a bottom, but no top, you have a wrap on the bottom, but nothing on the top. That's not allowed there. You cannot go into, you can't even walk through the hotel, even if you're going to the pool. You have to be covered until you get to the pool. And then when you're leaving the pool, you cover it back when you go to your, back to your room or wherever you're going.
Can you wear a bikini at the pool?
You can wear a bikini at the pool, and you can wear the bikini with the thong bikini, but you have to be covered when you're in public areas, public spaces, right? Mm-hmm. No overt displays of affection.
Yeah, no PDA.
No PDA, baby. Now, those of us in America who were like, oh, come on, smooch on me, love on me, show me that you love, show the world that you care about me. Listen, we were at the mosque. And there were 2 couples that went with us. And so this one particular couple, they are beautiful folks together. It was just beautiful meeting them, being around them. But someone in our group who was taking photos said, okay, I want you all to hold hands and gaze into each other's eyes. And honey, when I tell you that security guard, he weaved in there. He was like, no touching. Now, we were told this before when we got on the bus by our tour guide. He told us, I'm going to tell it to you again once we get in the mosque. And there were signs everywhere saying, the only people I think you could hold hands with touching with would be a parent to a child.
Right.
Like even, and that had to be a small child, not a, because even in the other family, they brought their 2 daughters and they were taking a picture. So they took this picture. Any pictures that were taken of showing PDA, what they asked you, open your phone, show me the picture, show me any picture you took, delete it. Then you have to go to your storage and delete it from there. And if you took pictures when they told you places not, they would take your phone. So it's not like we don't have rules here in the US, but we tend to be so much more lax with what we say we can't do or shouldn't do, right? Because
and not to mention we have rules for different people.
Right. The rules apply to different people, different times, different groups, different. So, and the rest of the stuff was just, basic stuff. No bikes, no scooters, no rollerblades, no ball games on the grass area. Please wear flat shoes on the running track and give way to people exercising. I mean, it was really courtesy, no littering, no pets allowed. Please do not feed the birds, and lawn chairs are prohibited. Lawn chairs were prohibited, right? Okay. So on the beach, you don't have all these people, all with your, your whole house out there and stuff, but people were enjoying the beach. It was a beautiful place. And like I said,
you could bring towels on the beach though?
You could bring towels on the beach, but no lawn chairs. And on the beach they had some chairs that you could rent.
Okay. All right. They have their special. Okay.
Yeah. So it, the way it was designed is like the way most things are probably designed, but then we give way to allowing people to do what they want to do, that sort of thing. I will say that I could really appreciate the fact that there's something to be said, and take it how you want to. There's something to be said about when a whole culture of people are willing to humble themselves before their God. Now, take it how you want to take it, but I'm just saying there's something to be said about a human nature for us to be able to humble ourselves before your God. Hear what I'm saying to you. You think about it. They pray 5 times a day.
I know. Yeah.
They pray 5, like everything stops. They pray 5 times a day. Now, granted, there were some shop owners who did not close down each time that they prayed. So you're not forced to pray, and you're not forced to close your business.
Well, if you're not Muslim, then probably you didn't.
Right. But those who are, they went to the mosque, they prayed, and then they come back and they resume their day. And to me, I think that was a serious reminder of something I think in other cultures we're missing. And it's not to say that we don't have the reverence toward God. It's just that it's not as strong as the need for human beings to do what they want to do. Does that make sense?
Now say that again.
In other words, we have God, we have religion, we have multiple kinds of religion in the United States, right?
Exactly.
And then we have people who don't practice any sort of religion at all. Right. And I'm just saying that for me, the experience was to be in a place where the reverence for God was so eminent. It was so strong, spoke to my heart about how for human nature, if we would all just learn how to humble ourselves, right? How different I think life would be.
And love each other like God loves us.
Right. And to be obedient. Right.
Yeah, because that's the missing component.
Yes,
in a lot of religions, and because you know what it is, people cherry pick. You know what I mean?
You pick out what you want to do, and then you leave the rest over there. And I mean, like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying Dubai got it all together, because I'm sure
No,
Dubai
I
has
hear you.
their own set of issues. Like
Of course they
any
do.
other, anytime that people are involved, there are issues, period, point blank, the end. For the greatest of plans, as long as we are involved, there are issues. But it was just different to be like they're
But it's
like, they
mindset.
feel very safe there. Like they don't, like they're, I don't recall, I saw some officers with guns, but like I didn't see a lot of officers with guns and stuff. Police presence was not, I mean, they are there. Let me say this, there are cameras everywhere,
I can only imagine.
everywhere. And they're like, you could walk the streets down here at night, you'll be fine. There are cameras in the elevators, there are cameras in the restaurants, there are cameras in the stores, there's camera on the street corners, there were cameras everywhere, right? And so I'm just saying, though, for me, and this is just me, I'm not telling anybody what to do. So always, like I said, this is from the Chronicles of Iris, D.H. Owens, right? There's just something to be said when we humble ourselves before our God. There's just something to be said about it, because it is a different feeling in how people move, act, speak, and behave with one another.
No, I
It's
mean,
just
I
different.
definitely, I agree with you. I think between like you definitely, I do agree with you 100% on that. And also like when you, okay, you know, like prime example, even where, let's take where you used to live, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the South Bronx. And you remember how beautiful it was when you first moved there.
Absolutely.
Because, and but then you know, you take places like that all over the place that they don't enforce it. Why can't it stay beautiful?
Right.
Because it comes to the rules. People become lax.
Yes.
All those things have to be enforced. You know what
Yes.
I mean? And that's
Yes.
important so it can maintain its beauty. People are always saying, which I just don't understand. Oh, like you say somebody, well, don't eat there. Or now, like a lot of people, they don't want you to wear shoes when you come into their home. You know
Yes.
what I mean? Some people get upset about that, but those are their rules. They don't want the dirt from outside. They don't want people on their white carpet, whatever
Yes.
the case may be.
Right.
You
Right.
have to go by the rules. That's the way something continues to look beautiful. Like you know, even my daughter's building, which is a brand new building, nobody's ever lived in her apartment. But you know, and they built it around the whole thing with COVID, so it took a long time to fill it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because of the whole thing with COVID. And now all the people are moving in. They have all like the brass and the elevators and stuff like that. You can see they're not maintaining that building really well.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And also, but you go like when you go to a certain part of Fifth Avenue,
Right.
all the brass is shining. They've
Yes.
been all those buildings
Yes.
now. A lot of those
Yes.
buildings, even like you know, I was at Tiffany's the other day and they have scents coming out of the buildings. Like
Yes.
so, when you walk on the streets, you smell. It's beautiful to stand in front of those buildings. You know, they
That is
smell
the thing
good.
about Dubai. Everywhere you went, there was this fragrance. Oh my God, their fragrance. It was just like there was this. Anytime you walked into the hotel, there was always a sweet, it's like what I say, the sweet fragrance of God. There was
Uh-huh.
a fragrance everywhere you went, right?
Because they do something to your senses when you
Yes,
have
they
that.
do. Yes,
And
they
I
do.
think they just in general, because I do cleanliness is next to godliness. And it's like, you know, when you see people, I never forget, I was at and where I live is really, really a nice area. I was I had to go, it was one of my accounts, Quick Chat. And I'm waiting to go into Quick Chat. This man bought some cigarettes, comes out. Literally, the garbage can is next to
Right
him.
there.
He takes the wrapper, takes it off the cigarettes, and throws it on the ground.
Yes.
Oh boy. I jumped out my car. I said, pick it up and pick it up now. He would pick everybody, and it was so because everybody was parked there because it was like lunchtime, all the
Right.
contractors would come, everybody started clapping at me. I'm like, really? I just didn't think. Like,
Yes.
oh, I mean, here we
Right.
go. Then you will say it's a pigsty. You know what I mean? You
Yes.
want to make it like that. That is
Right.
not allowed. And those things have to be enforced because it has a lot to do with your state of mind.
Right.
Anything that's is dirty and all this kind of stuff, and you know, it all goes together.
Let me tell
And
you,
it makes it all,
on their metro, So their metro is set up. You have a silver section, a gold section, and a something section. So at first when we got on, I was like, oh my God, the silver section, gold, it was clean. But so the first car of the train is for women and children.
Oh, right. Okay.
Then the next car is still women. The next car is for men. So, you know, you don't ride in the same car together, right? But just like in New York or on the subways, what does it say? No eating, no gum chewing, no drinks, no. When I tell you there was not one person, and we were on their train in their rush hour. Like it was like being in New York. I didn't see no one eating nothing, drinking nothing, eating nothing, right? No trash anywhere. Like I said, I'm not joking. I even asked, they said they do thorough cleaning every other day of the city. They clean every other day, but they're cleaning even in between, but the deep cleaning happens every other day. And to be on a train where there's no one, you know, munching a sandwich, there's no one. There was none of that. And I'm saying, I remember when life was like that in New York. I remember when we didn't walk down the street eating things all the time and taking garbage and just flinging it anywhere. I mean, it's just, there is something to be said when we follow rules and when we show great appreciation for that which we have been given.
God has given this to us. And now it's our job to maintain it, keep it clean, appreciate it, so we can pass it on to the next generation. But people will just like do all sorts of things. Like I know they built a new casino and it's in between, it's like Virginia and Maryland. I don't know if you heard about that casino. I can't remember the name of it. But they have restaurants and everything in there. And I went down there, I did for like a photo shoot. However, I wanted some gum. And I went to the store and they said, we don't sell gum in the casino at all. It's a lot because it gets all over everything. It was quite interesting. I was like, you know, I had to tell everybody, I was like, that is really good because gum does get everywhere.
And because how many times do you see people take gum and stick it under the seat, on the seat, on
exactly.
You know, we never used to understand why people said don't chew gum on public places, but now we know why, because you see all the gum stains and it gets on your shoes.
They really enforce that, so they just don't sell it. You cannot buy gum.
There you go.
Nowhere there. And that place is huge, it's beautiful. And it's like, so it's like certain things, like when you say you have a car and you tell people, you know, don't eat in my car. Oh, why your car so they go through all of this stuff. Like, really, people? If so, I just, my thing is, in Rome, you do as the Romans. If you don't like it, then don't go to Rome.
Right. And if, if you can't follow the rules, you know how we talked about that before I went away. It is amazing to me that, especially as Americans will go to another country. And again, their rules are posted. Like, you don't be confused. Like, they will keep saying it over and over and over and over.
That's why they get so mad at us as Americans.
Then you decide, oh, I'm just going to go over here and take a picture by this sign, or in the mosque, let's just say.
And they said no pictures.
And they told you no. In the mosque, they tell you, this is the photo area. This is the photo line. If you want to take a picture, this is where you stand. You cannot go any further beyond this. I mean, it's simple.
You cannot go in other countries or go play and just do what you want to do.
No, you can't.
That's not how it works. I've been telling my children that since they were little kids. And it's only a lot of people, just even when you have a child, you know what I mean? My children did not eat and drink certain things.
Right.
And I can honestly say that my mom, you know, I can honestly say I never had any problems. She's like, well, Stephanie, can they eat this? Stephanie, you know, whatever. Because you respect me. But I've seen those parents like, oh, they can eat that. I fed it to you. And then they babysit your child and give me a child, whatever.
Yes.
You know, come on now.
Well,
you have to be respectful.
I will tell you this, the one thing about our trip on the out flight. So 11 hours.
Okay. What happened? What happened? What happened, honey buddy?
There was this family
Were they with you on your tour?
No,
Oh,
they
it's
were
like
no, they were not with us. But when I tell you, oh my God, 11 hours, this child cried.
oh, oh,
Cried. I mean, and you could tell at home she runs the house because
oh,
the
yeah.
minute you put her down, she's she's on point because she cried. I mean, wailing, and then the minute you pick her up, like on cue, she could cry.
Yeah.
If they sat down while carrying her around, she would cry. I mean, she cried so much that she woke up other babies who were sleeping.
They woke up like, well, what's wrong? What's wrong?
Right. So now we had her crying, the other babies crying. Oh my God. But the other babies, we were like, we understand. Because this child cried 11 hours all night, and they never did anything except, oh my God, I wanted to just take that child.
But how old was she about?
She was no more than two or three.
But see, they have already let her, because
yes, that's what I'm saying. So at home,
out of you.
At home, she has no rules. She does not go to bed. She does what she wants to do. She runs around all evening, all morning. And then they had the nerve, they had the nerve. It's morning. She's sucking on a lollipop. And drinking soda. And drinking soda. We were like, oh my God. This is what I mean. Train up a child in the way in which they should go, and they will not depart from it. I mean, I was like, oh, everybody there were points where people were like, I'm gonna start crying. Adults, we're like, I'm gonna start crying to see if maybe she'll stop crying. Because it just went on all night long, the whole entire flight going, to the point that when we got off the plane and we heard a child cry, I mean, everybody's head was flipping like, is that her? Is that her? And then when we were coming back and we heard a child cry, I was like, please don't let her be on this flight. It was crazy. It was crazy. But it's like, these are the things that everything requires order. Everything requires a system. Everything requires discipline. Everything requires a yes or no, not sit down, don't do that.
It really does. People are like, I can do whatever I want to do. That you cannot, there's nothing in this world that you can, it's like you could be somewhere just like, and sure enough, you have to use a restroom and there's not a restroom to use.
Yes.
But if you had your choice, you'd be like, I wouldn't have to use a restroom. So you always have to do something that you don't want to do. Let's be clear. And people are like, oh, no, it doesn't work like that. I don't care, even with kids, I can't wait to get grown. I can do what I want to do. No, because to them, it looks like we do what we want to do. Because like we don't. Because us sitting here with doing homework with you, maybe on this particular night, is not the night. We had plans for tonight. Right. You just don't know about them. Right. We're not telling you about them. But no, because you didn't study like you should have studied for the test.
Right. And now you need this extra time.
Now we're gonna have to make you get ready for the test, the real test. So now we gotta cancel our plans to sit here with you because you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So but to you, our whole life looks like we do what we want to do. No,
we don't.
And then what we have to do things to keep the roof over your head, to keep the iPad that you're working on, and most people, these kids got the
all the stuff that happens in the background that you never know anything about.
Exactly. So no, it's never a time. You know what I mean? Just like you have dogs. Like when you have dogs tell you, feed me. They tell you take me out.
Yes.
They control what's going on. Because you don't take them out, you're gonna have a mess. You know what I mean? You don't feed them, they're gonna start eating other things. You know what I mean? So you have to do what you have to do. And same thing with an infant. You have to feed baby. No, when the baby's hungry, you gotta feed it. When the baby, you have to change the baby. It's things to do with everything.
Yes.
Everything. Even
every human being requires rules, regulations, yes, no, don'ts, do's, don'ts, absolutely never. I mean, it's just
It's like really, I mean, unless
even
you
with
tell
an
somebody,
animal, like you said, you got to train your animals to behave. Like, I
to
have
be on
I
your
have a
schedule.
new dog, and I told my daughter, I said, I don't know. Like, I'm praying over that dog. That
Oh,
dog's
Hazel,
spirit. Oh man, Hazel. Hazel
Hazel,
got
her name.
Hazel off the chain. And I'm like, yo, Hazy Hazel, baby, I'm praying for you because I'm telling you,
Hazel busy. Hazel busy.
if you don't get it together, you're gonna be out. You are going to be out of here because
Hazel busy, huh? Hazel
I
busy.
don't have the capacity to deal with Hazel's craziness. Hazel is off the chain to the point that Hazel does things that make Scarlett go. Like, Scarlett's like, did you just, while I was away, Isabella said, Hazel went and sat on Scarlett's pillow and peed on Scarlett's pillow. And Scarlett was like, and she said, Scarlett looked at Hazel like, heifer, what? Like, did you really?
Honey.
So, of course, Isabella went and, she had to wash it and clean up and everything. And then when she put Scarlett's pillow back down, she says Scarlett immediately like leaped onto her pillow and looked at Hazel like, I wish you would come over here. I wish you would. And wow. and even Isabella, that's what I'm saying, even amongst animals, we have noticed, because Scarlett is the alpha, right? And Hazel is here trying to, like, I'm trying to make a name for myself over here. It is funny to watch the dynamics even between these two dogs, because every time, like, Hazel is 1 year old, Scarlett is 4 years old, right? Man, Hazel can jump and leap and she'll get on top of Scarlett's back. Man, Scarlett just be taking her and be like, bam, like, get down, lay down. She like, we're not doing that here. And then
now who's bigger?
Well, Hazel is taller than Scarlett, but Scarlett is wider than Hazel.
Okay.
And so Hazel, she's leaping all over Scarlett and jumping and stuff, but Scarlett be putting her behind down. It's like on the mat, like boom, 10, 9, 8.
Hey, if you don't understand, I will make you understand.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm gonna teach you the ropes and I'm gonna need you to follow. And if you don't follow, every time you step outside the rope, bam, 10, 9, 8. It's so, I'm saying we all have to understand there is a hierarchy of everything in life, right?
It is. It really
is. And it all depends upon where you fall in the hierarchy. But no matter how high you are in the hierarchy, you're still not higher than God. And we all got to learn how to follow the rules. Stop breaking the rules. And don't get me wrong, we all break rules. But yes, we do. Sometimes we go way, like, you see people do stuff and you're just like, why are you doing that? And we're at a point now where talking to people is dangerous. Even to say something to somebody is dangerous.
It is. But just like I was at, Whole Foods shopping, so a lady, at first I just thought she was like really overly friendly, but I'm friendly too. But like sometimes you see a person, the more you see them, you get more and more friendly.
Yes.
Off the bat, she just hit me. And so what happened? Oh, I was in Whole Foods one night, and I used to go like 8:30 because not a lot of people was in there. They close at 9.
Right.
And this lady was in there, and it was a white woman, and she was totally out of control. She was on the phone with someone, and she was going off.
Ooh.
To the point that it was really uncomfortable. Like, everybody felt uncomfortable. This black guy, David, he was the manager. He's one of the managers there. And I was like, what's up? You know what I mean? And so I said, because I was trying to get myself and get out of there, because I'm thinking this one about to pull out a gun and shoot everybody. That's how bad, how bad the energy was. And when I got to this, I think it was the first time I encountered this woman. She's Indian. And I was saying to her, I was like, oh my God. She was like, yes, because, I said, well, like they were Black. They would have called the police by now.
Mm,
Let's be clear.
mm.
Okay. So she's like, yeah, like me too, because, I'm like your complexion and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, okay, but you're not Black. But
Yeah, you're not
okay.
Black. And
Yeah,
they can
yeah.
clearly see you're not Black. So unfortunately, you could
Yeah,
possibly show out, and they will talk to you and maybe ask you to leave the store, or they will talk to you
exactly.
and ask you, how can I help you? How can I make it
Exactly.
better?
And
I don't know
I'm
that I'm
sure
going to get that same courtesy.
and I'm sure you would go back to your first language to help them along with all of that too.
Mm.
So anyway, I see her once in a while. So the night I went in there and I saw her, and it was a couple, white couple in the line in front of me. And they're talking, I was just doing what I was trying to do, really get my app up so I could pay, when I go there. And then she's like, because it took them a long time. Oh, they wanted me to use my discount. So I could so for their food. I told them I can't do that. I'll get fired. I said, why would they ask you to do that? You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine, because they all get a 20% discount who works there.
Mm-hmm.
Like some of these people I've been knowing, like the manager that was there, I've been knowing her for almost 20 years. I would
Mm-hmm.
dare not go to her and say, oh, can you give me a discount? Can I use
Right,
your 20% discount? Like that
right.
doesn't make any sense. So then she proceeds to say to me, because I'll get fired if I use my discount, but sometimes I just give the people the free food and everything.
Well, I'm sorry, what?
I'm like,
Wait, hold on. Let's analyze that for a minute. So you nervous about getting fired for giving away a 20% discount, but you are giving away free food? Oh, girl, stop it.
and wait, no, she's giving away free food, and she tells me. Now she knows I know all like I know these people by name, or maybe she doesn't. So I was telling her, she was like something, she don't know who you are. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm like, oh, and one of the managers, I'm like, I'm not gonna make. It's like, why would you say that to me? I made me feel very, very uncomfortable that you're giving people food. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, but you need not tell me about anybody about it. But that tells me there is something going on in your mind.
Hmm.
There's a problem, because she says that what her big thing is that she complains that Whole Foods throws all this food out and people are hungry and all this kind of stuff. But I know that they do donate a lot of food also. So it's like, okay, I don't know. I don't work there. I
Well,
just
you're
shop
not on
there.
the administrative team, and it is not your job to determine who gets free food and who does not, and what happens to their bottom marketing line and their profit loss. They got that all figured out, honey. Just do
I was
your
gonna say,
job. That's
but then
crazy.
I give away. Oh yeah, because sometimes I give food away. The people I know, I'll give them food and stuff like that.
But the logic behind, but see, to me, it's again, when people say things to certain people, I think that's a test. It's a test to see the measuring of, I wonder what her response, or no, and I don't even know if it's a test. I think it's a lack of education, and
Mm.
it's ignorance to believe that I could say that to you. I could say it to you. I wouldn't say that to another person, but I'll say it to you to see, because you will understand where I'm coming from
Yeah,
on that.
I'll do that. Like, yeah, okay. I will never go in. But I see her, I'll be going in another line from now on, because you do a cray cray, honey, for
Oh
real,
my
for real.
gosh, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Because you have to have, you can't just, I would never do that. So like, really, like that sounds crazy, and don't tell me about it. Don't tell me about it
But
at all.
again, it goes to us thinking that we can go someplace
Mhm.
and do what we want to do. And it's funny how many times people break laws and rules at the place they are employed, and then want to turn around and say, I'm helping somebody. It's not yours to help with.
Yeah, yeah,
If
that's true.
you want to be a hero, or you want to be a savior to someone, then take that money out of your own pocket, pay for their food, and
Pay for
keep
their
it
food.
moving. But you
You have to
cannot,
have good
that's
character.
stealing. That's
You can't do
stealing.
that.
In case you don't know, that's stealing.
That
And
is
that's
stealing.
not doing a good deed.
That's
This
not
is
doing.
not
And
Robin
and
Hood.
like,
It's not
yeah,
Robin Hood.
it's not Robin Hood at all. Like I pulled up at not my Whole Foods, another Whole Foods in Clark. And when I pulled up, and I saw a thing going on with these two white men. And so the guy comes out of one guy comes out of Whole Foods. He has, like, his canvas bag. He has a little shoulder with food in it, obviously. And then the other guy comes out, and I quickly realized that he's security.
Mm.
And he says to him, he said, "I need you to step back in the store because all the stuff is in the back. He stole it." And he's like, "I'm not coming back in the store. I didn't steal this." The guy wouldn't come. So he took the bag off of him and just went back in the store.
Right.
Again, I'm like, if that was a black person, he would have held him and everything like that. And it's so funny. The guy that was stealing got in the car with an attitude. You should be happy to call the cops on you. But it's like, these people, they don't have good character. But then
well, for some people, life is all space is your space. For some people, they live in a mindset that all space is their space. And for some of us, we clearly understand that all space is not all our space.
That's right.
Right. And we clearly understand that even when we are in spaces that we have earned to be in, there are those who will remind us that this space is not ours.
That's right.
So again,
act appropriately.
Right. Behave. Do what you're supposed to do. And don't get puffed up with pride, and don't follow ignorance. And then because that's the thing I really don't like that we will do. We, people of color, will see someone else who is not of color, or at least not our color, and do something crazy. And then we will become childlike and go, well, they did it. Okay, what your mother used to tell you. So if they go and jump off the bridge, you gonna jump too? It's the same concept, y'all. I just want you, this is the same concept. Be very clear, and be very clear that even if you put two of us together and one of us are of color and one of us is not, the person who goes and does it, they may even jump off the dang bridge and survive. They're going to become a hero, because it'll be like, oh my God, they jumped off the bridge and they survived and they become a hero. And then now they got 40 million TikTok views and da-da-da-da. We jump off the bridge and we survive. We're like, you fool, you going to jail. Because you was not supposed to. Did you not see the sign that says do not jump off the bridge? Again, it just the dynamics, but dynamics of life. And that's what I said, learning to appreciate your life. I'm not telling you to stifle your life, appreciate your life, but go through your life doing it the right way. Right.
Well, the thing is, you have so much a better life when you do that.
Yeah.
When you know how to conduct yourself, you get on these planes, act crazy. Now they have you on a no-fly list. You can't fly no more. You do all these things that set you outside of things that you can no longer do.
Right.
Okay.
And there's already enough lists that we're already on. We don't need to be on anymore.
Let's be clear. So now, like, just do what you're supposed to do, and we all be good. And teach your children the same thing. Because these people around here, I want to follow rules. And then you end up in jail. All you're doing is following rules. They tell you when to eat. They tell you when to sleep. They tell you
when to move, when to talk, when to do everything.
How long you can talk. I mean, come on now. So you put yourself in a situation that it's not worth it.
But like I said, as human beings, if we learn to humble ourselves, right? If we learn to humble ourselves and get out of our own way, and realize that there are some things I just gotta do. There's some things I gotta do to survive. There's some things I gotta do to survive. There's some things I gotta do, but also make sure that those things that you are doing line up with character.
Exactly.
With good character. Make sure they line up with good character.
That's right.
Because in life, imagine, I always tell people, it's interesting to me. I said this to my daughter, because my daughter, their generation is, people should be able to be allowed to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
And I always tell her, I said, you know what? I want you to think about how it feels or how you felt when you saw people of color being abused, right? In this day and time, you are witnessing on a regular basis a person of color being killed, shot, put in jail, whatever the case situation may be, because they are a person of color. So if you're saying everybody has the right to do what they want to do, well, guess what? The people who are doing these things, they're exercising the right to do what they want to do. But that is not how the world works. Because if that is the case, if we all just did what we want to do, oh my God, there would be none of us here.
That's right.
Because it would be like the Wild Wild West. You know, when
Wild West. Okay.
I never liked Westerns, and now I've started to watch some of these more modernized Westerns. And I'm like,
I grew up with Westerns.
People were violent. People were violent. I mean, brutally violent. Any crime that they could have committed, they did. They didn't care. Women, children, men, old, young, black, white, pink. They did not care.
They're gonna come to your farm and they're gonna slaughter the whole family.
From
0 years old all the way to the oldest person there.
Right. So you did every atrocity. You're going to rape the women. You may rape the men. You're going to scalp the men. You're going to slice the women. You're going to kill the children. These are the things that, again, until we humble ourselves before our God, we will continue to behave in barbaric ways and act way below our level of intelligence. And that's what I think sometimes we forget, being grateful for the ability to have advanced this far in life. Maybe that's what it is. The ability to have advanced this far in life and stop operating as if we are below the ability to be advanced, to understand, to operate differently and operate better. And that's all people. That's human beings. I'm not talking brown people, white people. I'm talking all people. That we don't operate at the level of intelligence that God has given to us, because we do some really dumb stuff, and you just go, oh my God.
You go date somebody and you just had a baby. The baby's like not even 2 months old yet. You got a new boyfriend already. Well, the boyfriend don't like the baby, and you think, well, if I get rid of the baby, man, I get the boyfriend, maybe will stick it out. So now you're gonna kill your baby. Like, are you stupid? Like,
that's a whole nother show, because I am always, you know me, I watch I'm amazed by what makes people do the things that they do. And I'm always thinking, when you decide that you're going to take somebody's life in order to be with this person, first of all, that person don't want to be with you because you're a killer. What
to be with you, they'll love what came out of you too. Let's be clear. If a person wants to be with you and that came out of you and they love you, they're gonna love what came out of you. Okay? Because if you think you gotta get rid of what came out, or even just not even like go to that extreme, now you gotta leave the baby with your mama.
No.
Or or pretend the baby didn't exist, all this kind of nonsense. Come on now.
Well,
and they've been doing that forever and they still doing it.
I just want to say, I think it's really important. Again, I think if you take nothing else away from what we talked about today, is to just really learn to humble ourselves, really learn how to humble ourselves, how to better ourselves, how not to get caught up, because we're human and we're all subject to fall.
Oh, absolutely.
We all stumble, but I've always taught my kids,
yesterday died last night. You could do better. I tell
myself, in life, you will make mistakes. Always remember this, you will make mistakes, because it's a journey. It's not a sprint, it's a journey. You will make mistakes, you will stumble, you will fall. But the goal in life is to try to make the least amount of non-recoverable mistakes. You hear what I said? To make the least amount of non-recoverable mistakes. Because there are just some things we cannot recover from. There's some things we cannot come back from. It's some acts and things, decisions that we make, there is no coming back from. So again, learn how to humble yourself, be grateful for the blessings we have. And
it's so true.
Again, and travel somewhere, go somewhere, read a book, decide where you're going to go in life and take a journey. And I'm serious, even if that journey means you live in Long Island and you're going to go to the Bronx, You live in the Bronx and you go get on the ferry. I'm telling you, you live in Georgia and you're gonna go to the mountains. You live in, Chicago and you're gonna go to the other side and go to the, the southern part of the state. It is just time for people to just get out of your own head, get out of your own space, get out of your own
Right.
way. So,
and you reset your life every day. Every day you reset.
Every day.
The next day you wake up, you reset your life. That's a new day. Always a new day that you can do better.
Filled
Be better.
with new opportunities.
Every day I ask God, let me be better each and every day. And that's the goal. Like you said, it's a journey. So, every day it's a step. It's a little step. It's a step. You can't eat the whole enchilada at one time. It's like have that saying, how do you eat an elephant? One piece at a time. And that's your life. Same thing in your life, one piece at a time, one step at a time, one step at a time. Because when you overburden yourself with everything all at once, then what do? Nothing.
That's true.
Now then you're like a deer in the headlights, like you can't even like focus because now you're just so overwhelmed. But he's like, okay, this is, yesterday I wasn't the best person I could be, but today I'm going to be better than I was yesterday.
Right.
And just strive to be the best person that you could be every single day, and operate out of good character. That will carry you a long
way. That's right.
It will.
That's why our parents always say manners will take you places that you could have never imagined. So think about it.
Imagine. Thank you. Appreciate you. It will just like, everything.
Thank you. Yes.
Exactly. Let me tell you quickly. So I was hanging out with Savannah on Wednesday and we went to the store. And I was trying to get to the store all day. But we was taking our time, going here, going here. When I got to the store was closed.
Oh.
And I said, oh my God. So we're trying to get here all day. She said, do you know what you want? I said, exactly. I know what I want. And they unlocked the store. Let me go in the store.
See?
And she was like, because I have my mask, I have my orange. She said, you got my favorite color. And I had to let you in the store. And it was like maybe 5 salespeople left, and they all rallied around me. And I got what I had to get. And they was like, no problem. It was really beautiful. And I take those things. I was honored. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because they did not have to do that. And it's like, because your energy precedes you before you even open your mouth. People feel your energy, and whatever you're putting out, that's what you're really getting back. That's with anything.
Absolutely.
That's with anything. So I really appreciate them, and I was able to get what I wanted to get.
I love that. That's a great way to see. Being good, you get blessed. I love it.
That is definitely a blessing.
Well, we thank you all for joining us today. We hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. I don't know what the weather is up top, but I know down here it's hot as bejesus.
It was really nice. Well, when I got on, it was 31 degrees. It's cold here right about now.
It's only March, and yesterday was 70 something degrees. I think today is going to be 78. Yeah. So
don't take it all in, because you can get some more cold days. They ain't gonna stay there yet.
Oh, I don't know. See, that's the thing about Georgia. You just never know.
I know a lot about Georgia too. You're not gonna. It's not gonna stay in the 70s.
We skip seasons. Like, it's 76.
Oh yeah, well, everywhere. We're skipping seasons now. Oh my God.
It's 76 degrees and it's only 1 o'clock. So like I said, I think it's supposed to get up to like 78 today. So we really hope that you all have
we had 70 degrees last week.
Yeah.
It was like 69, 68. It was crazy. It was a little crazy.
Well, y'all enjoy the weekend. Be blessed.
Yes, have a good weekend.
Fun. I love you, honey bunny.
I love you too. And be happy. Be happy.
Oh,
when you're happy, everything just goes so much better for you.
It does.
Find a happy place.
Gratefulness, happiness.
That's right. That's right.
All of that.
Grateful heart is a happy heart.
Yep. Changes your altitude.
Yes, it does. Yes.
Well, you guys have a blessed weekend. Thank you all for tuning in. All right.
Bye, honey bunny.
Bye, honey bunny. I love you.
I love you too, honey.
Bye.